So you've probably heard that options can create big gains for you. You can take small amounts of money and create even larger amounts of money. That's true, but let's talk about the hidden side of options. So as I alluded to, a lot of people that hear options just think, oh, okay, trying to make big gains. And while that is true, you don't need to always be making big gains, and there's really other things to options that I think are much, much more appealing and just, quite frankly, should really be the star of the show, not the big gains that you can make, but these three things. So I want to talk about the three characteristics of options that get overlooked. The first one is actually some people try to make it sound like it's a negative or a bad thing, but I think it's perfect for people because it eliminates a very common desire, very common kind of Jedi mind trick that you try to play on yourself. So the first hidden gem of options is that they expire. In other words, they can turn worthless. And a lot of people say, oh, you got to be careful about that because it can expire worthless on you. They are depreciated in value at all times. Very true. But I think this is a good thing. Why? Be decisive. I don't know how many times I've seen it, and I've been there too, where you take a position in a stock and it doesn't quite go your way, and then you think, I'm going to change my plan. I'll buy a little bit more. I'll hang on for a little bit longer. And then all of a sudden, okay, I'm going to start to research the fundamentals of this company. Maybe it's going to be a good investment. And then before you know it, this very short-term trade has turned into a long-term investment because you've tricked yourself into thinking, well, you don't want to cut, you don't want to sell for a loss. So you trick yourself and it turns into a long-term investment. With options, that's not the case. You know that they expire. You know that at some point they're going to become worthless. So you need to stick to your plan. And if that isn't motivation to have you stick to your plan, then I don't know what is. So I think it's a great motivation tool in terms of making you plan the trade and truly trade the plan, not have the plan turn into a short-term day trade into a 3-year hold, or in other words, you become a bag holder. Let's just call that what it is. So they expire. A lot of people say, oh, that's negative, that's bad. Give me a break. It's going to make you be decisive and be disciplined. So I think that's a great thing. Second, with a cash account, the pattern day trading rule does not apply. Let me say that again. The pattern day trading rule does not apply. Pattern day trading only applies to margin accounts, but if you have a cash account, it no longer applies to you. I did not know that. Somebody in the chat room mentioned that to me, and I thought, wow, that's pretty huge, because the pattern day trading, that's probably the biggest question I get is, hey, are there any ways around this? What can I do to try to work my way around it? And a cash account is a step in the right direction. And the third huge thing, and this is, quite frankly, I think very game changing, is that a lot of times, or not a lot of times, every time there's something that's called the settlement rule. But all the settlement means is this. When can I use my money again? Now with stocks, as soon as you make a trade, even if you have a cash account, when you make a trade, you have to wait 3 days before you can use that money again. So just to keep the math simple, let's say you had $100 in your account, you make a trade, you have to wait 3 days before you can get access to that $100 again. However, with options, 1 day. This right here is huge. So with a cash account, and then because options by nature only have a 1 day settlement period, you can essentially make as many trades as you want per week. Not per day, but if you divide up your account in a way, and actually if you click on the video or click on the annotation that's on the screen right now, I do a video that's a little bit more in depth about these couple things, so check that video out. But with the 1 day settlement, you can go at it again and again and get many more trades per week than what you could if you had a cash account and are trying to use stocks. So very overlooked. Again, this was something that was pointed out to me by a member of the chat room, so I can't really take credit for figuring that out. But it's a huge thing. Like I said, game changer, and I stand by that because The 3-day rule is what really, screws up people with cash accounts and stocks because, sure, the day trader rule doesn't apply to the cash accounts, but still, even with stocks, you have that 3 days where you have to wait until you can use your money again. But with options, it's only 1 day. So again, options are going to have you be decisive. They're going to have you be disciplined. With a cash account, no pattern day trading rule applies to you. And then the big one down here, they only have the 1 day settlement period, so you can have your money, or you can have access to your money right the next day. And those 3 things, as far as I'm concerned, are very huge. So if you haven't considered options, hopefully this kind of sways you. Don't fall into the trap like I was for so long that options are super complicated and intricate. They're really not. The way I use them and the way I teach them, very, very simple. And I think I do a pretty good job of simplifying it within my course. If you're interested in that, you can click on the link down in the description box to look into my options trading simplified course. It's gotten very good reviews, and I think it's a very fair value for everything that you learn and everything that it can open yourself up to with all these very big advantages, particularly in the way that you can get many more trades per week compared to trying to do and trade stocks if you have a smaller account. Obviously, if you have over 25,000, then this stuff really doesn't pay attention to you. But I know a lot of people out there don't have 25,000, so this is something that can really benefit you. So if you have any questions on this, leave them in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them in a timely fashion. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Remember, get out there and trade without emotion.